My name is Nassime Saps.
It's the Joeseph Clement Show. I'm your host, Joeseph Clement. Let's get started. All right, so I had a request to do a talk about a book called Ender's Game. Ender's Game was originally a coming-of-age young adult military science fiction novel about a child called Ender Wiggin, who is humanity's only hope. Let's get started talking about it. All right, so these bug people, bug creatures exist. They're real. There are giant, walking upright, walking on all legs, bugs that have intelligence, that have certain psionic, quote-unquote, psychic abilities, certain telepathic abilities that can communicate with you by talking into your head. And if you think thoughts in your head, they can hear it. But it's limited by distance, and they have to be fairly close. So this is real. Okay, so that is real. Creatures like that actually exist. Now, let's look at the main plot of the story, okay? The main plot of the story, very interesting plot, I would say. But let's look at the main plot of the story. The main plot of the story is the imminent doom of humanity. Okay, so that's kind of cliche, right? But the imminent doom of humanity by these giant bug people. Okay, starting to get a little bit less cliche. Okay. So the reason why this franchise is so... the claim to fame of this franchise, okay, this is the real reason why it's famous. This is not the reason why that you'll hear other people talk about. Is because this is the first time in a quote-unquote science, quote-unquote fiction setting, in science fiction entertainment as a medium, this is the first time that this particular type of framework of a story came out, where you take kids, okay, you kidnap kids that are very smart, that have genius levels of intellect just from being born as geniuses. Okay, so you take all these kids that were born as geniuses, okay, and you take them when they're young and you train them out in space, you train them out in a space station, you train them out in other places, okay, off the world. All right, you train them to become soldiers, to become warriors, to become fighters. Okay, so there was never really a story framework like that before. Okay, this is the first time that that's ever happened, and this also happens in reality. Now, in terms of the truth of that book, let me talk about the parts of the book that the book was right about. Kids are trained to become soldiers in out in the depths of the black of space. That is correct. That is reality. Spaceships that can travel very fast and very long distances. That is reality. Lasers, that is reality. Bug people, that is reality. Do whatever it takes to get the job done, that is reality. Colonizing other planets, colonizing other worlds, that is already reality. Operating out in space, doing different things out in space, way out, using very advanced spaceships and whatnot, that is reality. All of that exists. All of that exists right this very moment and is going on right now as I speak. It is happening right now as I speak. So that's right. That's true. Now, of course, that's all covered up. And unless you have firsthand knowledge and experience about those things like I do, then the only reason you believe it is because you just believe it. So either you're going to believe it because you've lived it or you've have firsthand experience. So it's not really belief. It's just knowledge at that point because it's literally your experience. So now it's no longer belief. But if you haven't had firsthand experience and you still believe, well, then you're just blessed with knowing what's true and what's not.
Indianapolis, Aries 31 has traffic 2 o'clock, slightly above.
Can you say aircraft type?
Negative, Center. No distinct outline. Tell you the truth, the target is rather brilliant. Wait a second. He's heading right for my windshield. The traffic is approaching head-on. Ultra bright and really moving. And right by us, right now. That was really close.
31, do you wish to file a report of any kind of it?
I wouldn't know what kind of report to file, Center.
This is nuts. What do you want?
I just want to know that it's really happening. I recently had a close encounter. Close encounter with something very unusual. Who are you people? I'm seeing this shape. Damn it, I know this. I know what this is. This means something. What did you expect to find? An answer.
This book, this franchise, the movie, explores various psychological aspects of morality, of evil, of whatever it takes, do whatever it takes type of thinking. And, the answer is for Luciferians, because I want to connect this. Okay, I want to connect Ender's Game. I want to connect the story. I want to connect this concept to the satanic Luciferians. So, coming at it from a satanic Luciferian standpoint, satanic Luciferians believe that they are justified in harming anyone that is getting in their way of what they want to do. And it doesn't matter one bit who they harm whatsoever. As long as you can get away with it. As long as you can get away with it, then they'll do it. And they won't think twice about it. They won't have remorse about it, especially in the act of it. Now, getting back to the book, the turning point for this boy, this character, okay, this Ender, the turning point for him was he was off the world, he was in the middle of his training. Okay, there was another boy that thought he was better, and just this other boy in the story just got it in his mind that he was going to bully Ender. Okay, now Ender was the smartest one out of everybody, and he was the super mega genius person, okay? He was a super mega genius type of kid, and a million times smarter than everyone, okay? So, you know, they got into a fight, and so Ender knows how to fight. They trained him how to fight. They trained all the kids how to fight. But when you train someone that's smart how to fight, okay, a smarts with the fighting ability is very deadly combination, okay? It's different when someone that isn't as smart is taught how to fight, but when someone is very smart is taught how to fight, it is a very deadly combination. And so the bully ended up getting killed. Of course, the bully initiated the violence. Ender defended himself. And in the story, it was like Ender was a little bit thinking contradictory thoughts about it. Some of him wanted to kill the kid. The other one, another part of himself didn't want to kill the kid. So he was kind of double-minded about it. Okay, he wasn't fully... But then after a while, he felt sad about it. Okay, so, but in the beginning, he was kind of mixed. But then he ended up actually feeling sorry that he killed the child. Okay. So in the book, they describe the workings of, in the sequel, I would say. I don't know if it was described in the original book. I never actually read the original book. I only read the sequels because I saw the movie and I didn't feel like reading the book. But so in the sequels, they describe the workings of the ships and the workings of the technology. And in the sequels, it describes that the technology that they were using to kill the bugs were the technology that the bugs themselves had invented. And that was kept a secret. Okay, it was kept a secret from everyone, basically. Almost everyone. It was kept a secret from the kids. Okay, so during the book, there was a mass disconnect between what the people on Earth were told versus what actually happened. Okay, so all the government in the book, all the governments of the world covered up everything. Obviously, they couldn't cover up the fact that there was this imminent invasion happening, but they covered up all the details of everything. So that's obvious. Okay, so governments covers things up all the time because that's the nature of government, is to be corrupt. Okay, you give people unaccountable power over vast majority of people, and you have those same people believe that they're better than people, and you have those same people not believe in God. You're going to have corruption and evil and wickedness. So that's obvious. So to me, the story really is a tragedy, and I would describe the story as one of a tragedy, especially if you read the sequels. Okay,